Which brings us to Brockport, and a football story we're getting considerably better at telling. We call it inherent risk. It took a while, but Brockport senior Jordan Blocker is back on the football field.
I feel great. I just got to get my conditioning and stuff back up, seeing as I wasn't able to do anything for about 3 weeks. So other than that, I just feel normal. Glad to be back out here with the fellas, putting in hard work.
3 weeks earlier, it was a whole different story. Blocker had taken a blow to the head in a scrimmage and was left face down, semi-conscious on the field.
It wasn't really scary, but it was nerve-wracking, really.
Yeah. What was the sensation? You understand the tingling in the hands and the like?
Oh yeah, I just couldn't feel it. It was more of I don't really know how to explain it, but I just couldn't feel my arms.
You're standing in the stands, and you know at first it's like, oh, whose kid is it? And then when you realize that it's yours, your heart just drops to your feet. And when I saw the cell phone go up and I knew they were calling another ambulance, that's when I knew that I needed to be on the field.
You knew your mom was out there. She say anything to you?
Oh yeah, she held my hand. I forget what she said though. I think she just said it was her.
I know on one hand all the precautions are reassuring, but it's also a little unsettling to see his head stabilize like that. So what's going through your mind when you see all this?
Oh, well, all the news stories, you think about kids that have been hurt, that have been paralyzed, and that's really the first thing that goes through your head is I hope that this is something that is not life-changing.
Blocker was immobilized, placed in a neck brace, and carried from the field.
Let's see, I remember getting into the ambulance, being put in the ambulance. That's about it.
How was the ride?
It was all right. The guy, he messed up on the IV twice. That hurt pretty bad. It left a pretty big bruise. I told my mom that the guy had stabbed me when I got to the hospital.
Gallows humor aside, all wasn't perfectly well for Blocker. There were issues to overcome still. Concussion issues.
10 years ago, you had just had a headache, you might have sat out for a little while and came back in. Now our school, and just about every school in Section 5, takes a computerized baseline test for concussion prevention, just in case someone does have a possibility of having concussion, that they'll take it and it'll tell them if they're up to their baseline. If they think they're a little bit delayed on their answers and stuff, it'll err on the side of caution, and we'll have them sit out.
If you add up all the forces that happen over the 2,000 hits, and just you were to jam it into one, it's like falling out of an airplane. It's that much force that goes to the brain.
Dr. Jeff Bazarian is a concussion specialist at the U of R Medical Center. Bazarian's on the cutting edge of research in the study of neuro-degeneration, especially as it applies to football. He's working on a blood test that will detect the presence of a concussion and take the guesswork out. He sees injuries like this all the time. He treated Jordan.
If you have symptoms of a concussion and you're not getting better within a week, seek a concussion specialist. They're in Rochester, Buffalo, Syracuse. You just gotta seek them out. Don't wait.
Blocker had to get past Bazarian before he could get back on the football field.
Well, they said don't spend too much time with screens. Don't spend too much time looking at a TV or looking at a cell phone or texting, especially.
So you took that all pretty seriously?
Yeah, I tried to slow down on all of that and just give my brain some rest.
Blocker's physical therapy sessions aren't over, but he was back on the football field. The fact that it took 3 weeks means we're taking a little better care of our kids. But this is tricky business, and the stakes are high. All right, so I'm a parent, I got a kid who wants to play football, and I have some reservations, and I come to you to ask for what you think. What do you tell him?
Well, I'd say there's lots of positive things about football. If the game is played right and safely, I think it can be right and correctly. It can be a safe sport. But I'm leery about it because of what we see in our research, that there's players that have subconcussive blows, never complain of a problem at all, but have some low-level damage on their MRI scans. So I'm concerned about that. Right now, we don't know how to prevent that. So I'm a little nervous. I guess I would kind of advise you with caution. If you really want to let your kid play, if there's lots of good reasons, just do it with caution.
Here we go. Devils on 3. 1, 2, 3. Devils. You're getting a drink. You're on the jog. Everyone jogs on the.
Dr. Bazarian suggests that parents be especially vigilant when it comes to youth football, which doesn't have the same standardized procedures that the high schools do. Jordan Blocker, meanwhile, continues to play and play well at Brockport and plans to play at college next year.